Have you ever felt like there's a vivid fire burning inside of you, yearning to break free and illuminate your life? That, my friend, is your vibrant life waiting to bloom. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. We are here to empower women just like you to liberate that vibrant life, to live authentically, and to harness the power within.
Our journey will take us through the enlightening realms of energy healing, goal setting, spiritual awakening, and so much more. We're stepping into the light of self-acceptance, of owning our power and potential.
If you have been yearning to dive headfirst into the world of entrepreneurship, or awaken your spirituality, or simply make peace with yourself, your search ends here at the Vibrant Life Podcast. As we embark on this enlightening journey together, we promise to hold your hand through every step of your journey to a more vibrant life.
Your adventure to true empowerment and authentic living begins here. Tap into the vibrant life you've always dreamed of. Subscribe now and join us at the Vibrant Life Podcast. Embrace your vibrant self. Until then, shine on.
Shine on.
Hi. Welcome to the Vibrant Life Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Cassie.
I'm Audrey.
And we're so excited you're here.
Welcome.
Today we are talking about clearing space, making room for what you're calling in.
Yes. And it's a really important part. If you are all bogged down with things that are no longer serving you, you're going to stay bogged down unless you get rid of that shit. Energetically, it is tucked in there tight and you've got no room for anything more.
Right. So we're going to talk about how to clear mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, because you need to clear out all of that. Some of that is physical, actually creating the physical space.
Yep.
Then others is making space for new beliefs to come in, new thought patterns to come in, new habits to come in.
All the things.
All the things.
So I'm going to pull some cards.
We're going to pull to start.
Yeah. And we'll see what we find. Oh, they're backwards. Oh. Hold on.
Done.
I don't know. They're all going different directions though. Okay. Hold up. What's the rest of that song? That was some early 2000 rap there. That's funny. I already saw this card. Must be meant for us. Discernment.
You're discerning what needs to stay and what needs to go.
Yeah, I think that's probably as basic as it is right now, right? Ooh, discernment is not judging, right? When I came from a super judgy mindset of like thinking about how people do things or the way they act or the way they dress or any of the things, when I had that judgmental mindset, as I shifted and I was trying to find people and things and places that were right for me, I learned that the difference between judging somebody and using discernment is coming from a place of love. You might have things in your life that just no longer resonate, and that's okay. You're not judging, you're using that voice of like, if it resonates, it's for you, and if it doesn't, you're using discernment to pull it out.
Ah, I love that. That's so good, because letting go shouldn't feel like losing something. It feels like coming back to yourself.
Yes. I love that. Way to tie that up in a bow. I was about to read the book and I was like, I don't need to. It just came to me.
Yes.
Thank you.
So when we're talking about letting go and releasing, it's not about losing. It's about coming back or creating more alignment and space for more aligned things to come in. So whether that is a person, a job, a thing, like
a thing that you do,
a habit, or even physical things, if they are no longer in alignment with your next steps, then letting them go. Yeah.
It's super important to create room for that. We just talked about abundance and visualization. So you visualize the things, you change. Excuse me. That was great timing. I got a bigger one. I'm going to cut that out.
I was going to say, do you want to do that line again?
We just did visualization where you visualize the things you want to bring in. Then the next thing is the abundance mindset. You have to feel worthy of the things that you're calling in. And then you got to make space though. You got to make space for this thing that you want. You got to clear room.
Yeah.
So for example, as we're getting ready to get rid of our house and move into another house, the first thing I had to do was start getting my current house ready. I had to start cleaning, like physically cleaning my space, getting rid of things we didn't need, things we don't want to move on to the next house. We had to start fixing it up so it's ready to list. So it's actually like a physical purging of the things that are around you, because anything you have in your space is energy. It holds space. So literally cleaning out physical things that don't serve you. And then mindset, you got to work on that mindset, those self-limiting beliefs. I just talked about that in the last episode too, a little bit about writing the things down that you're like, ooh, and reframing your mindset too. So release it. You can write it down and burn it. I'm pointing at the fireplace, which you can't see. Stick that shit in there, light it on fire, and then replace it with positive affirmations. So reframe what you're thinking.
Yes.
Okay. What else? So physical, mindset. What else?
Emotionally, you had to be ready to leave your house. You had to let go of it.
I had to let go of it. In fact, I made that very ritualistic. I asked ChatGPT to make me a ritual, and it was all about thanking the current house for everything it's given us. And I took my kids, and we had salt water and we had rose petals, and we sprinkled it all the way around the house, and we thanked the house, and we made like a circle around it. And it was just, and we lit a candle just because we can. And we said it.
What is it, a ritual if you don't have fire involved? Like,
no, it's one of the elements. We had water, we had salt, that was earth. What else? Oh, air. Anyway, so we walked around the house and we thanked it, and then that was just kind of like our closing. And then this morning, I shared on the last episode, we got up this morning and we welcomed in the new house.
Yeah.
So we did it that way. That definitely works through the emotions. I haven't bawled about my leaving my current house. I'm sure that'll come at the end. Because I brought all 3 of my kids home to that house. So yeah, emotionally. So those are 3 things. Was there anything else we had on that list? Spiritually. Well, I kind of included that in with emotionally.
Yeah. So, but you can do this in a lot of different ways. So that's physically, you're moving from one space to another. But if you're thinking about relationships, you have the whole grieving process. But first you have to, like, when you're in a relationship, so like, okay, if I go back to probably the most seismic romantic shift was like in the divorce, I had to believe that I was better, like deserved better than what I had. And it was a very powerful moment for me one time when I was talking to a friend who was like, are you guys going to get back together? Like, he was one of our very best friends, right? Like, we had all known each other since high school, and we were, late 20s. I had just brought home our baby, and he was like, okay, so I talked to so-and-so, he's over here. Like, he had just talked to the ex, and he's like, this is what he's saying. Like, what do you want? I was like, I only want my marriage if it's the marriage that I want, not the marriage I had. And that was a shift for me. I was like, oh, I'm not fighting to go back to what it was before. I deserve better than even what I had when it was quote unquote good. You can't see the air quotes, but like when it was good before the affair, before all of this nonsense. Like, if I can even get past that shit, like, I don't even want to go back to what we had. So I, in that moment, kind of realized, like, I deserve better than what we had.
You deserve better.
And so that was me kind of stepping into that abundant mindset and then starting to shift. And that's when I started realizing a lot of the limiting beliefs that I had around what I deserved in a romantic relationship, and where those came from. A lot of different places, right? And you don't necessarily have to identify where it came from. You just have to identify the belief that you're with. And so if we go through that same processes, you have to step into the abundance of, even alone, I am better than I was in that toxic relationship, right? And so I have found that happiness being single. And we're getting off on a whole different topic, but you have to let go of you have to acknowledge that you deserve better, right? You have to acknowledge you deserve better, but then you do have to grieve it. You have to release that and make space for the new to come in, and you have to process those emotions. And so,
can I just interject about, you're talking about processing the emotions, and I feel like people that are probably in our age range, we're not taught that emotions are okay, that you're supposed to kind of bottle it up. So that's a really big thing where you have to unlearn that hiding the emotions, don't stuff it down deep inside. Right. And we also weren't taught that we deserve really good relationships either.
Right.
Like, that was not something.
Just stick it out.
You're supposed to stick it out. Divorce was like a terrible, it's the D word. It's a different D word.
Well, and also I've seen more talk about like how our generation is more estranged from their parents than other generations, because as a generation, as millennials, we are saying, no, we deserve better. You don't get to be toxic and still be in my orbit. And I think that is something that our generation is going to contribute to the world.
Yeah.
Breaking those toxic cycles. And so
Yeah.
that is part of doing that in these relationships. You are getting rid of a relationship that doesn't serve you to your highest good. And you're getting rid of it and saying, no, you don't get to have my energy. You don't get to have my space. And then that makes space for people who are going to cheer you on, who are going to be good for you.
You know what's going to be, I'm thinking about, Cassie had somebody troll her when you were talking about a similar topic, and somebody was like, oh, something about the me generation. I was like, if our generation is more separated from our parents because of the toxic relationships and we're cutting ties and putting separation and boundaries in there, but think about how good the generations moving forward are, because we have really great relationships with our kids, and it's going to be a completely different thing. So yes, the gap is here, but I don't foresee gaps going further. Like, I think that's the end.
I think so. And I just want to say, like, okay, so Audrey, I haven't seen the comment, I don't know, but
I didn't comment back. I heard it.
Audrey told me about it. She's like, oh, you got a bad comment on YouTube. And I think even 4 years ago, that would have sent me down this whole spiral. And my first thought was, fucking good. If I'm the spokesperson for the me generation, okay.
Like, I'll own that.
I'll own that.
Yeah.
You mean I'm, setting an example of having a better relationship with myself, and that it's okay to put myself, to even consider myself in the conversation or in the equation of how I spend my time, money, resources. Yep. Call that a me generation, or call me the spokesperson for the me's. Because yes, you should have self-care. You should have self-worth. I'm going on a whole soapbox, but I will take
we love your
that
soapbox.
like, yes, you're allowed to be. I mean, that's our whole platform. You are allowed to be not only part of the equation, but a large part of the equation. Like, you are allowed to live your life in full color. And if people try to tear you down for that, fuck them.
Fuck them.
All right. Going back.
That soapbox got real big.
It did. But what I was saying is, I'm so much more embodied in myself and more self-assured than I would have been even 4 years ago when I dreamt up this idea.
Yeah. You're making me think about, so I'm a home visiting nurse for first-time moms. And a lot of my moms are real young. And anyways, I've got a new mama that was talking to me the other day about, you mentioned as I become a mom, I need to find something that lights me up, and I need to keep doing it as I'm a mom so I don't lose myself in the identity of motherhood.
Yeah.
And she goes, I didn't know I was allowed to do that. She goes, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, I'm a daughter. And she had totally lost herself, had never been given permission to have her own identity. So now she's got a brand new baby, and she's trying to figure out what her identity is. And it's not that she's just a mother.
Right.
So I'm super excited for her, and it made me just really hopeful. Like, some days when I'm just like, is this job in alignment with me? And then I have powerful moments like that, and I'm like, oh, it totally is.
That's actually an exercise we do in Life Redesigned, one of our courses in the VIP section. We go through the hats we wear and the roles we play, and we go through and talk about releasing the ones that no longer serve you, or showing up different. So if you're like, okay, I'm a sister, but I'm the one that gives it all. I'm the planner, I'm the doer, I'm the whatever in this role, and you're like, that doesn't serve me. We talk about in like how to shift that and envision how you're going to show up differently and what steps you need to take. So that's actually something we talk about in Life Redesigned.
I love that. It's perfectly aligned.
Perfectly aligned. So you can get that in our VIP section of the Vibrant Life.
Yeah. Find us online. Join us for free to start. Test the waters. See if you like it. If it's your jam, come on in.
We have a conversation section that's free. I think there's some other resources, but a ton of our resources are for our VIPs. So that has all of our journals that you can print out and all of the courses that we've done. We have a 5-day confidence challenge. We have this Life Redesigned course. Audrey's putting together a meditation course. We've got a whole portal of all kinds of things that you can print out and use within your life. So come join us in the VIP. It's literally designed to help you change your life and do all the things we talk about on this podcast. So
I love it. Insert plug here.
Insert plug here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about releasing. So this could be physical clutter. It could be outdated dreams and goals. It could be relationships, limiting beliefs, guilt, shame, resentment. So emotions that no longer serve you. Oh, this reminds me of how I got to Fonda. So I going to Fonda because I was like, I am so full of anger and resentment, and this is no longer serving me, and I want to release it. So I had to be like ready to let it go, right? Because for a couple of years living in that anger and resentment, it fueled me, right?
It served a purpose. And
served
anger
a
does serve,
purpose.
all of the emotions
Yes.
serve a purpose.
Talking about being afraid of emotions and not
Yeah.
knowing how to process them, anger was one for me and my family that was never
You're
allowed.
not allowed to be
Anger was
angry.
like a bad emotion. So even when I thought that my husband was cheating, I struggled to access the anger. And then it hit me and I was like, oh, this is good. And I went into action. Anger fuels action. And so that served me for a while, but then it no longer served me. I had outgrown it and I wanted to move forward. And so you have to be ready to let go. So I was ready to clear it and make space for better, not better emotions, different emotions
Different emotion.
and different relationships. I didn't want to be angry anymore. I wanted to be neutral towards my ex. And that's what we are now. We do not co-parent like this. Like we don't make decisions together, but we are not high conflict, which is what I wanted.
Yeah.
I didn't want high conflict for my daughter. I don't think it is a good example to allow someone who has hurt you in that way to have access to you. So we're not like buddy co-parents, and I don't ever foresee us being. But I am happy to go to events and we see each other there. And it is fine. It is neither here nor there. Like it is, I don't want her to feel like she has to choose, but I want to model strong boundaries still.
I love that.
So
That's so good.
anyway,
Yes.
a little bit of another soapbox, but why we struggle to release things is because of the fear of the unknown, right? So going back to our examples, if you've been in your house for a long time, an unknown house, you didn't know what that was going to look like for your budget. You didn't know what that was going to look like for your family. I was in a relationship for almost 15 years. Like I didn't know what a relationship looked like outside of that. I didn't know what motherhood looked like. I didn't know what single motherhood looks like. I didn't know what being single as an adult looked like. So there was this fear of the unknown on the other side. And that's where you really have to tap into the abundance mindset of just knowing that there is better out there for you. It's a leap of faith.
And you're worthy of having those things.
Yes.
It's that worthy.
Yes.
I am worthy. I am worthy. You're worthy just as you are. You don't have to do
Right.
anything different. And that is something I had to figure out on my own. So let me be the first to tell you and hold up a mirror that you are worthy just as you are and deserve all the things that you want.
Yes. We also have attachment to an identity. When our
Yeah.
worth is tied into, I'm the one that does the things. I'm the one that does this. This type of identity. I'm a wife. If that is your identity, getting a divorce can be very hard.
That just reminded
Speaking from
me
experience.
of when we were talking about how like, oh, she's so selfless. She's
Yes.
so giving. Why that was like such a good thing to call somebody.
Yes.
Hell no.
No.
Like that is an identity you need to let go if that is your current identity.
Selfless.
Selfless.
Yes.
Like let's not be selfless. It's not really good at all.
Yeah. The emotional investment. Okay. We talk about in the divorce community, there's a lot of talk about sunk costs. Like when you are going back through and processing, like, why did I stay? Why did I stay after this red flag? Why did I stay after this thing? Because you have sunk costs in this situation. And so you have to work through that. And it is something that can keep you tied to something that no longer serves you.
Yeah.
But I want an example that's not divorce, because that does feel very like that's not applicable to everybody.
That's not applicable to everybody. Okay, so moving spaces. We talked about changing relationships, changing jobs.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did that twice. I was working in jobs that weren't in alignment with me. They were toxic work environments, and which I think is a healthcare. Like I think healthcare is just toxic in general. And so I just had to identify that and identify that again. And then there was a lot of process with that. But because it was a smaller thing than a really big house, like the dream house was a big manifestation. So it took me several years, like 5 years, to get from the very beginning until like we're so close. But the job thing, months. It took me months the first time and months the second time. And I called in exactly what I wanted both times. And there was a lot of I stayed with the same healthcare system for 18 years. And so there was a freeze point where I was like, can I really leave? I really thought I was going to be here forever. And it took a really big leap of faith
Yeah.
for me to make those changes. So you can leave a job. What else?
A relationship. I mean, you've got even just a friendship.
Just friendships.
You have the
Yeah.
emotional investment, and also this feeling that letting go can equal failure when really it's stepping into more alignment, and not a failure. But it can feel like that when you're releasing a friendship, when you're releasing a job.
How about a habit?
A habit.
Let's talk about Cassie's releasing her habits. Cassie, can we share your journey? Do you want to?
Sure.
Do you want me to share it?
Yes.
Do you want me to be your brag girl?
Sure. Be my hype girl.
Cassie's lost 60 pounds in the last year. Is that
Yeah.
where we're at? 60.
Close to 50.
Close to 50.
Yeah.
But like 100 inches or something done like that.
It was ridiculous.
So-
when I did it the other day.
But that was a mindset shifts. You
Yes.
had to go over and over and over from having diet culture mindset to doing something that's healthy for you. And you have just been persistent. It's so inspiring. I also probably am in that category. I could greatly benefit from doing what Cassie's doing. So I'm using her to slowly inspire me. Once I get moved, I keep saying that later.
But let me talk about that because
Yes.
okay, so the mindset shift that I had to get into is I am embodying a healthy person because I have lost large amounts of weight before, but it has always been in times of great stress. So it was after my father was killed or during my divorce, I lost 80 pounds. And it was like, or in high school when I just wasn't eating, right? It was like, that was an eating disorder. And so I had a lot of anxiety around changing my habits and things like that. And I had to work through that. I had to release those limiting beliefs that I can only lose weight if I do it in an unhealthy way.
Yeah.
So that was the belief that I needed to clear out. And then I've been doing the things, like
She's doing the damn
I
things.
go to the gym. I focused on protein, and that's so frustrating. But the other thing is I also medicated my ADHD. So that was part of it. But a lot of this was just doing the things that I knew, but I needed to be in the space that I allowed myself to step into a newer identity, right? Because it was easier to hide when I didn't feel comfortable in my body. It was easier to not show up for my business, not show up in dating. Because I would always say like, oh, I'll date when I get to this amount of weight. So then I was like holding myself back, and I had to work through like, I am worthy of love at any weight, but I don't feel my best at this weight, right? And so it became an expression of self-love and not seeking outside love.
I love that.
And so it was, this is how I feel good in my body. This is, I choose to eat healthy food because I am loving my body. I do not make any food a morally bad food. If I want the brownie, I'm going to eat the fucking brownie.
Eat it, and you have been.
And I do. And I just had to release a lot of the mindsets and the emotions that weren't serving me, which, okay, goes along with what we were. And then physically, I released 50 pounds.
You released You did. You released 50 pounds, which is amazing. So I just tried to scroll down on the laptop and just sent us all the way to the bottom. I have no idea how to work her computer. You got to fix that for me.
Where were we on our little outline here? What we tend to hold on to, why we struggle to release. So if we're using that, the fear of the unknown, an attachment to an identity that I have always thought that I am not an athlete. I am not a physical person. I held on to the identities that I'm like klutzy and clumsy and
I identify with these as you're going through this. So Cassie's setting the example for me.
I can't go to the gym and lift weights and because I'm not an athlete. And so I had to switch that mindset.
Yeah.
I had to release those identities of I am not a healthy person. I am lazy. I am lazy physically. I don't think I've ever thought I'm a lazy when it comes to getting shit done, checking things off. But I was a physically lazy person is how I would have described myself.
Over here.
And so, and then I had to release the emotions of loving myself at any size. It really did start with self-love. And I know that's so annoying if you've been on any kind of diet or you've yo-yoed. That's why I struggle to talk about it still, because I'm I'm used to the things you're supposed to do that everyone had told me to do forever, and I just never did it.
Yeah, well, it is self-love.
I don't want to be that annoying
and it's
person,
hard.
but...
It's hard to love yourself when you're not taught to do it. So I just think about my kids, and I hope I'm doing the best I can, so they're gonna have a different outlook than what we did.
And that was part of it. Is I made sure not to talk badly about myself at any weight.
Yes.
But then also as my body is changing, talking about I'm going to the gym to get stronger. I'm going to the
Yes.
gym to be able to move more because like my daughter and I like to do yoga together. And it's like, oh, I wanted to be more flexible. I don't talk about necessarily the body image because also through her school, we're doing this book study on the anxious generation. And it's talking about how social media impacts the image for 13-year-old, like for young adolescent girls. And girl, guys, that is a heavy book, but it's worth the read. So anyway,
Yeah.
just trying to be aware of how I'm talking about myself to my daughter. Oh, signs it's time to let go. You felt stuck. So along this way, I decided I was done. There was a point where I was like, I'm stuck. I have been trying to lose the same damn amount of weight for 15 years. Like, I'm done. I'm just going to try this and it's going to work. That was the other thing.
That's what I said just a couple weeks ago. I feel
going to work.
stuck. I said it over and over and
Yes.
over again. I feel stuck right now. And there was a I can't fucking say that today. Mindset shift that happened, that all of a sudden we went from stuck to, oh my God, we're flying. This
Yes.
is crazy.
And so that was part of it. It was, I felt stuck. I felt heavy. I felt resentful. I felt drained.
Yeah.
And I had to be done with it. And
Yes.
so, yeah, you do
And
that.
sometimes that happens right before that thing comes in.
Yes, and you have to say, and same with like, Vibrant Life has not been providing the money financially that I needed. So I was like, okay, I feel stuck, I feel heavy, I feel resentful, I feel drained. I'm going to call in a contract, and then boom, one's almost here. Fingers crossed.
By the time this airs, it might,
yes,
so
so
it'll be
just
here.
things like that. You have to decide that you're done and that you deserve more and that you're worthy of more and that so it was like I had to be worthy of being an athlete or whatever that mindset shift was.
So how do you go into actually getting rid of them? Feeling the emotions. So crying is a very valid form
Yes.
of getting rid of emotions. I was not much of a crier. And then I got better at it. It took a lot of practice. And
Yeah.
then my neighbor, my really good friend, got breast cancer. And I had a daycare tip that same day. I was like, it was a really bad day. And I sobbed for like 5 hours straight. Like she was still like, what? I have cancer? Like she didn't even cry for like a year after that. But I was finally to a very healthy place that I was like, this is terrible. And I just bawled all day long. And I tell you, anytime something really bad has happened since then, I experience those emotions like as it's coming up. I don't bottle it in anymore. And I'm a really good crier now. It's a great way to get rid of emotions. We always talk about journaling things. That's always good to write down things and release, but also moving your body is a form of energetic movement.
Yes.
And what did I do? Last week, I pranced around
You
the
did your fairy
basement
dance.
as a fairy. I was moving energy. They said, you're stuck, then move. And I did. And
Yes.
guess what? Energy is moving. Oh my God, I forgot
Oh my
about
gosh,
that.
I did too. Vocalizing.
Yeah, so the universe is so vibrations help move energy. So either you can get in touch with those. There's also something called solfeggio tunes that I just pop into Spotify or YouTube, and they'll play you different frequencies that will help move energy. Fonda has like a mat that vibrates when you lay on it. That feels really good, and that is another great way. And singing of any sort.
Right. I was also going to say, even just talking to a friend or doing counseling.
Oh, yeah,
again,
just
we're big
saying.
proponents of
Talking out the
therapy.
thing. Yelling. Go in the woods and yell.
Yeah, go
Why
in the
not?
woods and yell. So letting them go, because repressed emotions still take up space. So
Yeah.
we need to move through them. And yeah, so
love
all of
that.
those good things. We actually went through all of those yesterday at Gemma's school thing.
I love
That they're
that.
talking about moving and vocalizing, and they have like a timeout corner, or not a timeout corner, a break corner. In all
Right.
their rooms.
Where they,
I freaking love it.
it's like
I
a
love that
time
school.
in corner,
Yeah.
which is a way better. It's you're not being punished for being overstimulated anymore. It's like we know that you're overstimulated and you need a break.
Yes, and they use the word pause power, or they use the term
Ooh, I
pause,
love
and I really like that. Like,
I like
we're
that
going to
too.
use our pause power exercises, and I don't know. It's
really
super
good.
cute. I'm like totally on board. Okay, so let's talk about forgiveness, because a lot of releasing is forgiveness. So I had to go deep into forgiveness, and forgiveness. I don't necessarily think you need to have a conversation about forgiveness. I don't think
You
you need to
don't.
let people know that you forgave. Forgiveness is for you. It's not for them. And it doesn't necessarily mean you say all is okay. It's just, I am no longer holding on to this. To me, that's where I landed with forgiveness. I had to go deep.
It's not saying that what you did to me was okay. That is not what forgiveness is.
Right.
It is strictly
this is no
the
longer
releasing.
serving me. I'm releasing it.
Yep.
So that can be about forgiving yourself or others. Like you can stop beating yourself up about
Something you did
something
10
you
years
did.
ago.
Yeah, the choices you made, the situations you ended up in. You can forgive and then choose to move forward. And that is clearing that space. Physically decluttering.
The next thing we talked about physically decluttering. That's the other thing. We talked about making a ritual of it. Ask ChatGPT to make you a ritual. Pop out a Vibrant Life. I'm getting ready to do a whole ritual section. So I'm going to put the house calling in and the releasing of the houses. I'm going to have that one in there. I'm sure I've got lots of rituals that I've created over the years.
Done for the new moons and the moons.
So
we have a lot already.
The moon every month. We've got rituals in there. Oh, I forgot about that. So you can do that. And then a ritual just makes it more meaningful. You're putting more effort into it, and whatever effort you put in, you're going to get back, right? So it's the energy exchange. So that's kind of the thing with the universe meeting you halfway. So you're energetically making this ritual, putting energy in to this thing you want to happen, and then the universe will meet you. It's inspired action.
Yes. I love that. And I think
a lot of times for me, it's just this demarcation line of like the before and the after.
Yeah. After I come out of this, I'm no longer, this is done. We're done with it.
So yeah, like times of forgiveness, you've got to journal it out. Or yeah, like with that, I remember sitting in my kitchen and being like, I'm fucking done with this. I'm going to do something different.
Yeah.
And you just, it's a demarcation line.
You're just done. I love it. You've let it go.
You've let it go.
It's done. So that's our action prompt for you guys is to either write about something you need to release and burn it, or, I mean, you don't have to burn it, but you could write about it or just like create your own ritual to release.
And if you want help creating one,
let us know.
Leave a comment.
I got your
will
back.
help you create one.
I will create you a ritual and it'll be damn good.
Yes. So yeah, figure out something you're ready to release. Name the emotion that you're holding
You got to
on
name it to tame it.
Name it to tame it. Choose a ritual to let it go, and then declare your release. Say it out loud. I release what no longer serves me.
And that's all you got to do. I'm done. And then be done.
Space for what's next. I love that. Okay.
Bring it in.
So remember, letting go is not about losing. It's about returning to yourself. So you're not meant to carry it all. Some things were only meant to teach you and then to not travel with you.
Yep.
So
just life lessons. Let it go.
Lessons. Okay. So next time we are talking about thriving in motherhood. We talked about it a little bit, like with your
mama, finding her
thriving in motherhood. So how to reclaim your identity without sacrificing the sacred parts of being a mom.
Oh shit.
That's what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we already
exactly
touched base on. Oh, I love that. Okay.
Look at that's all our synchronicity.
It just works out.
It's like we know what we're talking about. It's crazy. Okay, so let us know how it goes. Hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Exciting news! The Vibrant Life Society is now open, and we'd love for you to join our incredible community of empowered women. Sign up through the link in the show notes to start creating your most vibrant, joy-filled life today. And thank you for tuning in to our Vibrant Life podcast. We hope today's episode has energized and inspired you to live your best life. If you enjoyed what you heard, be sure to subscribe on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And please take a moment to leave us a review. Your feedback fuels our mission to bring you more valuable content. Stay connected with us on social media at Vibrant Life Society for daily tips, motivation, and community support. As we wrap up today's conversation, we encourage you to embrace each moment, pursue your passions, and prioritize your well-being. Together, let's create a life that radiates with energy and purpose. Until next time, live vibrantly. See you in our next episode.